Hello and welcome to the First Assembly Kids Workshop. I am Jenna Grissom. I am one of the kids' church leaders at First Assembly Kids, and it is a pleasure to have some of your time today to go over some of the future things that we are going to be doing in 2026 as First Assembly Greenville. So, we are launching this workshop. It's going to be a podcast style workshop for you guys. And one thing that I want you to know is I want you guys to see this as a necessity and not another task. If you were fed once a week, if you were poured into once a week as far as food goes, so let's say you had food and you ate it, but you threw it up. You're never going to get the nutrients you need, right? It's not going to be beneficial for you to even eat if you're, barfing it up. That's kind of how our spiritual life is. Sometimes we can get kind of stagnant. We can sometimes see things as a task rather than a necessity. And we can go to church and we can check off our list of to-dos. And we've done our spiritual and religious duty, we can leave. And instead of applying what we have learned at church into our life and having practical steps to do that, we kind of just barf it up. We leave it in the bathroom and we walk away, and we don't actually keep the food down. We don't actually digest it. We don't actually have it fuel us and benefit us and keep us healthy and well. And so I want you guys to see this workshop as another source of food. Something that is going to help you guys become more like Christ to your kids, more like Christ to your spouse, more like Christ to other family members and to coworkers and other people around you. And ultimately just help people be more like Jesus, to reflect heaven so that more people can go to heaven, and to help make disciples who make disciples. And this is just going to be one of the ways that we're going to help you guys do that this year. These are going to be 5-minute videos that we are going to be posting here on this YouTube channel. So go ahead and click that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. And 5 minutes is, we feel like, a good enough time for y'all to quickly listen to this over your lunch break. I'm not going to talk about gross stuff like throwing up over your lunch break. Sorry about that. But 5 minutes over your lunch break, over doing chores around your house, over after your kids have gone to bed. You can quickly listen to it as you're getting dressed for bed or dressed for work, whatever it may be. 5 minutes, we feel like, is a very reasonable amount of time that you guys can slip into your week, because we want you guys to see this as a necessity, a time for you to refuel your perspective, refuel your mind and your spirit, and apply these practical biblical tips into your life to help benefit you as a parent or grandparent. Because we know that discipleship doesn't stop after your kids graduate from school and move off and whatever else. We know that discipleship continues into old age. The Bible talks about the old women ministering to old women and old men ministering to old men. And so we want you guys to have this opportunity to be fed and have another source of encouragement throughout your week. I want to reflect what Psalm 127 verse 3 says. I'm reading from the New International Version. It says, "Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from him." So we want you guys to see your children as a reward, see your children as a gift, see your kids as a heritage. And what is heritage? Heritage is something that you pass along, roots that you continue after your parents have passed. deep things. It's like what Proverbs says. Proverbs says, start your children off the way they should go, and when they're old, they won't turn from it. And again, Proverbs, they aren't promises of the future. They're just wise words of wisdom to help us be more like Christ. And so I want you guys to have these tidbits of influence so that you can see your kids as a gift and steward that gift well, because God has blessed you with these children. He's gifted them to you because he knows that you guys are going to be the best parents for these kids. And so we're going to help you guys along the way, helping them along the way that they should go towards Christ. And yeah, so how will this podcast practically help you? Well, after we talk about our topic for that 3 minutes within the episode, we're going to give you guys one goal for that week after you have watched the episode. And that goal is going to be very tangible, something that you can easily apply into your life, or maybe not easily apply to your life. It might take some of God's grace and help, because we're not perfect beings. We're sinful humans. And so it's just going to be practical tips. We have about 51 different topics that we're going to be covering, that Pastor Brent, Pastor Julie, Pastor Danny and Cynthia and Lacey and different ones have talked about, that parents need to know, like culture stuff, like peer influences, like how to continue on when you feel weary and you're in a rut and you feel like you don't know where your joy is anymore, when your children are being stubborn, when you feel like you're in a burnout phase, when you're struggling between finding what is genuine, authentic faith versus American norms, things that you might have to navigate through that you just don't know anything about, whether that be how to pray over your children, how to start a devotion with your kids daily, how to, or maybe it's even what child dedication is, or what that even means, or, how to give your home a, little oomph, how to give it an oomph so that when people come in, they feel the presence of God, and when they leave, they feel like they've met God, because of the way that you reflect God throughout your life. These are going to be just a few things that we're going to be covering through these episodes. And the next thing is the content aligned with our church's beliefs? 100% it is aligned with our beliefs. And I'm not going to be the only one on here. I'm going to have Pastor Brent, I'm going to have Julie, I'm going to have Pastor Danny and Cynthia, I'm going to have Lacey and a few others in the church come on here and navigate through some of these topics, and how that affects you and how you can overcome it through the blood of Christ and through the confidence that only comes through his Holy Spirit. And it's going to be addressing real life struggles. And it's going to be addressing struggles that your kids may be dealing with at different ages. So if we're tackling something that maybe only teenagers or preteens are going through, then great. It's going to be something that you're going to be dealing with in the future. If it's something that toddlers are going through, maybe you mamas who have already been through that terrible 2 stage can encourage them to continue going and being the best parent that they can be through the help of Christ. It's just going to be real life struggles with real life application. Another question that you may have is, what is the tone of this podcast? Is it easy to listen to when you're tired and struggling? And yes, it is totally encouraging. We don't want this to be something where it's like, oh my word, I can't believe you guys aren't doing this, or I can't believe you guys didn't know this. It in fact is going to be a, hey, we know you guys probably don't know this, and this is going to be very beneficial for you guys to learn how to grow fruit, learn how to basically be more like Jesus. And so yeah, it's going to be very encouraging, very humbling, but very encouraging. And it's going to be easy for you guys to apply to your life. Another question you may have is when these videos are going to be released. They're going to be released every Tuesday on here, like I said. And again, they're only going to be 5 minutes. This episode is a little bit longer because we are tackling what is going to be covered over the entire year. So that's a little much, we know, which is why this episode is a little bit longer. How is this supposed to be a support, not a replacement of what we're already learning at church? Well, I'm glad you asked, because these are things that are going to work alongside topics that are already being discussed at church, topics that we're already discussing with your children, not deep topics that we're going to be talking with y'all necessarily. We talk about stuff with them very age appropriately, but peer pressure, how to handle bullying, is something that we often cover in kids' church. And so this is something that we're to help you as parents also navigate. And yeah. Is it safe to listen to with my kids in the car? For the most part, it will be. There are going to be some things that we're going to be talking about that may not be appropriate. We're going to be talking about some marriage things. We're going to be talking about modesty, vanity, gluttony. So gluttony as in PORN, and other things like LGBTQ, and other cultural, problems that we're having today. So yeah, maybe just look at the title of the episode and you'll have a brief understanding as to whether or not it is appropriate to listen to with your kids. And I believe that is all the questions that you guys may have. I want to end off with this. You guys can actually get some awesome devotional resources on our website. So you can go to firstassemblygreenville.org and you can go to our kids page on there. You can scroll all the way towards the bottom and there will be a part of the website that says free kid and parent resources. You can click on any of those links and be able to navigate to free devotional resources that your kids can do independently. So if you're wanting to start a devotional time, you can do it with your kids, or you can give your kids these resources and say, hey, I'm going to be checking in to make sure you guys are doing this, but here's some things that you can do independently here at home before you go to school or before you go to bed. And yeah, we hope this is of help to you guys, and we cannot wait for the future episodes that are going to be coming out in this year. Have a blessed week.